There we are. I'd like to call to order the June 23rd meeting of the Board of Regents. And note that we started at precisely 9 o'clock, Phil, please. We'll start with a roll call. Let me tell you, not here today because they've had a death in the grandmother. And is call the roll, please.
Regent Drake.
Here.
Regent Kent.
Here.
Regent Sodi.
Here.
Regent Sims.
Here.
Regent Clare.
Here.
Regent Kenny.
Here.
Regent O'Connor.
Here.
Regent Ferris.
Yes.
Regent Pillen.
Here.
Regent Stark.
Here.
Regent Whites.
Here.
A quorum's present.
All right. Included in your materials is a copy of the minutes from our meeting on April 8th, 2022. I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So move.
Second, we got to pick up the pace a little bit, people.
It's early.
Are there any comments or corrections to the minutes? Alrighty, call the roll, please.
Regent Kent.
Approve.
Regent Sodi.
Approve.
Regent Sims.
Approve.
Regent Drake.
Approve.
Regent Kenny.
Yes.
Regent O'Connor.
Yes.
Regent Ferris.
Yes.
Regent Pillen.
Yes.
Regent Stark.
Yes.
Regent Whites.
Yes.
Regent Clare.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Compliance with the Nebraska Open Meetings Act, we have posted a copy of the act on the south wall of the boardroom behind the seating area for the press. So if things get real boring for you sometime during the morning and you'd like to slip over there and read that, take notes, why you're welcome to do that. We have some new folks joining us today. We have an opportunity to formally welcome our new student regents to the board. So do that. Emily Sodi, did I get that correct?
Sorry, but yes.
Sodi. Close. Emily is a senior pre-law student majoring in political science with minors in social work and global peace and security at UNK. She's a graduate of Kearney Catholic High School and was raised in Kearney. On campus, she's been involved in the UNK Honors Program, the Lock and Key Society, the Undergraduate Research Fellows, at a Sigma Honor Society, the Pre-Law Society, and Intramurals. Emily has also served as service chair for the Catholic Newman Center, secretary of the Student Senate, public relations chair for Model United Nations, social affairs chair for the Honor Students Advisory Board, a chancellor's ambassador. Sorry about that. It's a good group. It's just the guy running it. You know, it's gotta be a little careful, that's all. And she's a student worker for the American Democracy Project. Emily, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. On down at the end is Jacob Drake. Jacob is a senior majoring in political science with a minor in business administration at UNL. Jacob graduated from Conestoga Junior-Senior High, was raised in Murray, Nebraska. On campus, he served as president of the Association of Students at the University of Nebraska. He's an OASIS scholar, an active member of Alpha Kappa Psi. He's passionate about student engagement and leadership. He has served as chair of ASUN's Campus Life and Safety Committee as a senator and as the homecoming coordinator. Off campus, he's built his professional leadership capabilities by serving as a page in the Nebraska legislature and as a resident assistant working in the Office of Student Involvement. Jacob is a Nebraska Achievement Scholar and recipient of the Mechanical Contractors Association of Omaha McNeil Scholarship. So, enjoyed having dinner with Jacob last night. Welcome. Nice to have you here. And some of you who are looking around and saying, that lady looks familiar, is right. Nicole Kent is rejoining the board She's a third-year medical student at UNMC. She's a native of Berglund, Nebraska, and an alum of UNK, where she majored in biology and served as the student body president. Nicole has been an active member of the UNMC community, serving as the College of Medicine Class of 2024 curriculum chair, volunteering at their sharing clinic, and engaging with the Scholars Program. She's passionate about rural health care. She hopes to positively contribute to the health of rural communities in Nebraska through her future practice. Just forget about staying in Nebraska, Nicole. Welcome back. Tori Sims is a junior majoring in sociology at UNO. Tori graduated from Papillion La Vista South High School and was raised in the Omaha area. She previously served as Student Government Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and as a peer mentor on campus. Tori is also a member of the Honors Program, Alpha Kappa Delta, and a Thompson Scholar. Welcome, Tori. Nice to have you here. The voice and contributions of our student regents on this board are really valuable, and so we're very, very glad to have you here. President Carter, as I look across the room, I see some new faces facing us at the Faculty Senate's table. Would you be so kind as to introduce these folks?
Thank you, Regent Ferris. I have the honor of introducing the distinguished faculty who are assuming important leadership roles at the university as our new Faculty Senate presidents. So first and foremost, from UNK, Derek Beckner continues to lead the UNK Faculty Senate. As you recall, Dr. Beckner is an associate professor in the Department of Mathematics and Statistics, whose research focuses on mathematical biology, graph theory, and higher order differences on timescales. Dr. Beckner has been part of the UNK faculty since 2015 and earned his PhD, Master's, and Bachelor's in Mathematics from UNL. So, Dr. Beckner, welcome. Deb Minter is an associate professor in the Department of English and director of composition and rhetoric at UNL. Dr. Minter's teaching and research interests include a desire to join others in examining the relationships between reading, writing, and agency. Dr. Minter earned her PhD from the University of Michigan, Master's from Georgetown University, and Bachelor's from Kalamazoo College. Welcome. Trek Langahan is a faculty member in the Department of Internal Medicine at UNMC, an associate program director of the Internal Medicine Residency Program. Dr. Langahan received his medical degree from St. George's University in Grenada and his bachelor's degree from Grinnell College, where he played basketball and golf. Welcome. And Peggy Jones is an associate professor in the Department of Theater and associate director of the Women's and Gender Studies program at UNO. Her research interests include the intersections of language, gender and racial identity, and media and African American language. Ms. Jones earned her Master's in Fine Arts from UNL and Bachelor's from the University of Notre Dame. Welcome. And finally, welcome again to all. We look forward to getting to know you better and appreciate your contributions to our university system. Regent Ferris, back to you.
Thank you. At the beginning of each Board of Regents meeting, we take time to recognize persons who all too often don't receive the recognition that they deserve. The Board of Regents believes it's vitally important that we acknowledge your commitments as well as your contributions to the university. To have been nominated by either a supervisor or a peer is an honor in and of itself. As the Kudos recipients are announced, please come to the podium, join the regent who's making the presentation. Following the presentation, we'll take a picture that will appear on our website. President Carter, the Chancellor of the Baylor College, the recipient's family and supporters are invited to come in and see if we can make it so large that it creates a problem for our photographer.
Yay.
First Kudos recipients are Karen and Troy Voles from the University of Nebraska at Kearney, and Regent Kenny is presenting that award.
Pleased to present the Kudos Award to Karen and Troy Volz. This committed UNK husband and wife team have overseen campus mail at UNK mailroom since 2014. Both hold the title of mail regulations clerk. Together they manage external operations like receiving, sorting, distributing incoming mail for all departments, residence halls, and individuals. They meter and sort outgoing mail while assisting with large mailings that may require special instructions and deadlines. They help their colleagues who have special questions or needs. They do all extremely positive and always willing to help attitude. They enjoy their work and the opportunities that provided to know the colleagues and work with students. We have had the pleasure of meeting students from all over the world. This is priceless, Karen says. Putting diplomas in the mail, each commitment is fulfilling. They say knowing the process of the students' education has gone full circle. A former supervisor, Director of Business Services, Michael Christian, says, as a supervisor and a colleague, I not only appreciate Karen and Troy's commitment to the campus, but their willingness to help others when they are needed, but the integrity and honesty they possess. This and many other qualities make them true part of the UNK community. The recipients of UNK Teamwork Excellent Award in 2020 both went beyond expected responsibilities to ensure that the mail in their deliveries, like FedEx and UPS, continued uninterrupted during the COVID shutdown. Accompanying the Volts team today is John Watts, Vice Chancellor in Business and Finance, Meg Telke, Business Manager, and Kimberly Orcutt, Operations Support Supervisor, both Facilities Management Planning. Partners in life since 1981, at work since 2014, it is a pleasure and an honor to recognize Karen and Troy Volz for outstanding work and outstanding commitment to the University of Nebraska at Kearney and its students. Congratulations.
Wrong.
A personal one.
Congratulations. Regent Drake is now going to present the Kudos Award to Michael Berglund Reese from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
The Board of Regents is pleased to present a Kudos Award to Michael Berglund Reese, Communications Coordinator for the Nebraska Extension, which serves all 93 counties in Nebraska. Mike's management, communication, and web skills have been thoroughly tested in the past several years. During the historic flooding in 2019, he revitalized a dormant, outdated flood.unl.edu website so that the disaster team could focus their efforts on the ground. Meanwhile, he filled the website with relevant content and gathered resources from extension educators to transform it into a central hub for flood victims. Mike provided 24/7 communication during the COVID pandemic, allowing extension offices across the state to stay fully operational, providing critical resources to all Nebraskans. Now, with the recent drought conditions and wildfires, Mike is providing leadership to the crisis communication team and assisting with multiple aspects of mitigation, response, and recovery efforts. As one of his colleagues stated, quote, "There is no question that Mike Berglund Reese is dedicated to his job and willing to go the extra mile. He maintains a fresh, pleasant, unassuming, and upbeat attitude and is a wonderful asset to the university." Joining Mike today is his husband, Nick Berglund Reese, Charlie Stoltenau, and the Dean of and Director of Nebraska Extension, and Kathleen Lautel, the Associate Dean and Program Leader of Nebraska Extension. Please join me in thanking Michael for his dedication to Nebraska Extension and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
It worked. Congratulations. All right, congratulations, Mike. Whites is going to make a presentation. Present the Kudos Award to Amelia Stoltman from the University of Nebraska Medical Center.
Good morning. I am thrilled to be able, on the behalf of the Board of Regents, to present a Kudos Award to Amelia Stolzman, an administrator in the...
Hi.
You're there.
I am.
Come stand next to me. She is an administrator in the office of, I love this title, Transformational Practice and Partnership in the UNMC College of Nursing. With Amelia's leadership, UNMC's Moorhead Center for Nursing Practice and Faculty Practice was able to weather the COVID-19 pandemic and provide additional staffing resources to Nebraska communities while minimizing the College of Nursing's revenue practice losses. Wow, what a job. When practice partners first requested to stop faculty practice due to the uncertainty of COVID-19, Amelia saw opportunities to preserve the practice partnerships. This was critically important because a portion of many faculty salaries are covered by faculty practice contracts. Amelia provided exemplary customer service to these partners and honored their requests for practice changes due to the pandemic. She surveyed all nursing faculty for their interest in emerging faculty practice opportunities, including COVID-19 swab stations and telehealth. She also advertised to potential practice partners that faculty practice might be a solution to their short-term or long-term staffing needs. Said one of her nominators, though Ms. Stolzman's strategic thinking, the College of Nursing's faculty practice was able to continue to provide care across Nebraska and have a real impact on so many communities. Amelia's communication skills, accountability, and mentorship of new faculty also have earned her praise. A nominator said, "Our highly successful retention of practicing faculty and increased revenue is a direct result of her support of faculty and her professional and effective communication with our practice partners." Today, Amelia is accompanied by her husband, Dan Carpenter, and her supervisor, Kate Fiant. Giant. Rhymes with giant.
Yes.
It says that right here on my piece of paper. Please join me in thanking Amelia. COVID, really amazing. Thanking her for her innovative response to preserving faculty practice partnerships amid the COVID-19 pandemic, and for her dedication and mentoring of junior practicing faculty. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Amelia. Allison Vaney from the University of Nebraska, Omaha is our final recipient today, and her award will be presented by Regent Sims.
Nebraska Board of Regents is proud to present a Kudos Award to Allison, or Allie, an academic and career coach for the University of Nebraska at Omaha's Success Academy. Allie serves as a support system for first-year UNO students in the Success Academy's learning community. She helps students navigate through challenges they are facing, works with them to set academic and professional goals, and connects them to campus resources. Her nominator says, Allie cares wholeheartedly about each student that she works with and goes above and beyond to help them develop the tools they need to be successful. Students often remark about how she is a supportive and positive person there for them. A former first-generation student herself, Allie is not just an advisor, but a mentor for students who are the first in their families to pursue a four-year degree. Allie understands the unique and diverse needs of this student population and strives to create a welcoming environment. This is conducive to the successes of all students that she works with, her nominee. During the COVID semesters, Allie kept the students engaged despite the changes in modes of resource delivery. She partnered with UNO's Academic and Career Development Center to offer a series of workshops in person and remotely. These have been an excellent opportunity to connect with students outside of class and support their development, her nominator reports. Allie's supervisor, Erin Kruger, is here with her today as we join in recognizing her for engagement and inclusion, which she exemplifies, helping to make UNO and the University of Nebraska system special.
Oh, yeah. But you're right. Well, congratulations to all of our Kudos recipients. And while all of you and your guests are most welcome to stay and observe the balance of our fascinating and exciting meeting, if you have other commitments and wish to leave, we will take no offense. So you can just kind of slip out the door if you choose to do so. Thank you for being here to support those who received the awards this morning. Okay, we're going to move along now to some resolutions. And included in our meeting materials today is a resolution. Regent Whites has asked to introduce this on behalf of the Academic Affairs Committee. So Regent Whites, would you please read your resolution and move that the board adopt it?
Thank you. Whereas high state educational attainment is strongly correlated with higher state gross domestic product, higher per capita income, greater labor force participation, greater civic participation, improved health outcomes, and high quality of life. And whereas projections are that at least 70% of Nebraska jobs will soon require a certificate, diploma, degree, or other post-secondary or industry credentials with economic value in the workforce. Whereas Nebraska's current educational attainment, including degrees, certificates, diplomas, and other post-secondary and industry credentials with economic value, is approximately 58% for Nebraskans aged 25 to 34, and approximately 55% for Nebraskans aged 25 to 64. And they don't say anything about above that. Whereas Nebraska is in competition with other states and nations to develop, attract, and retain businesses and industries that require highly skilled employees and pay high wages. And whereas most states, including neighboring states, have set ambitious educational attainment goals to reach social and economic development aspirations and use those educational attainment goals to inform education and workforce development policies. And whereas state educational attainment goals help state officials, colleges, universities, elementary and secondary schools, employers, and philanthropic and community organizations establish a shared agenda and measure progress at intervals. Now, therefore, this is the important part, now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Regents supports the state goal outlined in the Legislative Resolution 335 in 2022, passed by the Nebraska Legislature on April 13th, 2022, that at least 70% of 25 to 34-year-old Nebraskans have a degree, a certificate, a diploma, or other post-secondary or industry-recognized credentials with economic value by 2030. Be it further resolved that the Board of Regents encourages university leadership to develop and implement strategies to attain the aforementioned state educational attainment goal.
Are you moving the,
I move the resolution.
I thought I heard you say that right at the end.
Yeah, I heard it in my brain.
And there is a second. Is there any discussion? I would just simply say that this is a, I think, very appropriate goal and certainly a very appropriate partnership that we. So if there are no other questions or comments, let's call the roll, please.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen, Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Clare, Regent Kenny.
Yes.
The motion passes.
All righty. We require in our bylaws that we hold a hearing whenever an amendment is proposed to those bylaws. So I now declare that the hearing is open with respect to the amendments to section 4.4.8, challenge you to find that, of the bylaws of the Board of Regents. The recommended amendments add faculty practice appointments as a category for the faculty at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. In accordance with our rules, these amendments were included as an information item on our April 8th, 2022 agenda and are proposed for approval on today's agenda, item 11A1. Is there anyone present who wishes to be heard on this matter? Apparently not. So we will move forward. Hearing is now closed. President Carter, I think you have some remarks.
Regent Ferris, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I think it's important to begin today by recognizing that today is the 50th anniversary of the Pell Grant, a transformational federal investment in access and opportunity for American college students. Pell is the foundation of financial aid for so many of our students. In other words, it literally opens the door to higher education for our students and families. Put some real numbers behind this statement. When you look at our population of first-time, full-time undergraduate students, 44% of those students at UNO are receiving Pell funding. 40% of UNK students do as well, and 26% of UNL students fit this category. So this program is a significant investment in access for students at the University of Nebraska and all across the country. And when you combine it with programs like the Nebraska Promise, our competitive tuition rates, scholarships from private donors, it adds up to a story of unbeatable access for the University of Nebraska students. I want to credit our federal delegation for their support of Pell funding and investment in the future economic growth and workforce development of Nebraska. And I have said this to others before, but if you haven't heard this before, I have a personal connection to Senator Claiborne Pell. In 1977, he was my nominating source to attend the U.S. Naval Academy. And I was the very first from my high school in a town that was about the size of Kearney, Burrville High School, a one high school town, to attend the U.S. Naval Academy. And I don't fit the perfect category of first-generation student, but for the history of that small town, I was the first to ever attend, thanks to Senator Claiborne Pell. So I have a personal connection to the senator. He mentored me all through my workforce in the world are as urgent and complex as they've ever been. Higher education, I believe public higher education in particular, has to help lead the way forward. The good news is that here at the University of Nebraska, we have a team of doers. This board, our chancellors, their teams. We are in a fierce competition for talent and workforce and economic competitiveness. The conversations we have had every day are about how we're going to compete to win. And I would tell you, as we're looking forward to this new revised strategy, based on the work that we've done, I would say it is an expect to win strategy. The good news here is that the University of Nebraska, with this context, as we approach to make this update to our strategic plan. Remarkable that it's been less than 2 years since we launched the original plan in the midst of a pandemic, no less, and we are already evolving it. That says a lot about how much we've been able to accomplish even under extraordinary circumstances. From the creation of Nebraska Promise to a historic deferred maintenance effort, to the development and execution of a multi-year financial plan to weather COVID-19, we are really on quite a trajectory. I want to give special mention to our productive legislative session this year. Grateful to the governor and the legislature for their support for our new UNK UNMC Rural Health Complex in Kearney, our proposed Ag Innovation Center at UNL, and pancreatic cancer research at UNMC. These are game-changing investments that will have a lasting impact on Nebraska's workforce and quality of life. So we've had many items in our strategy that we could kind of consider to have been checked off. In other words, these are things that we have done and will continue to build on. But we decided it was time to build on that and create some additional targets. Full updated document is posted on our website. We wanted to thank the university-wide team that came back together to provide an input on what we are calling Strategy 2.0 as we now look to the many great ideas that will have emerged from our conversations. So rather than read it line by line, I want to sum it up for you because this thing has really 5 big pieces to it. And I'm going to just break those down so that we kind of get a grasp of what this new Strategy 2.0 is really all about. So number 1, we'll create a new model for student access and success. This includes Nebraska Promise threshold increased to $65,000 adjusted gross income. Continuing effort to keep tuition low. The budget you will consider today includes our 2nd straight year of tuition freeze. Grow a program called Open Nebraska to save students $10 million on textbook costs. Support bold new statewide educational attainment goal, as Regent Weiss just read the resolution, and that is a very bold proposal, one of which we will lead. Take advantage of technology to reach all students, rural, military, place-bound, as well as the over 307,000 Nebraskans who have some college but no degree. and close the attainment gap. Unfortunately, Nebraska's educational attainment gap, and that's the gap between those who receive a diploma of white students compared to underrepresented minorities. We represent the third worst state in the country. Now, that was measured a couple years ago, and we are already quickly closing that gap, but we can do better. This is a workforce imperative at the end of the day. Number two, we shall and we must win the competition for talent. The clarion call from the business leaders is clear. Workforce is their number one challenge. We can be proud of the campuses collectively producing 11,000 graduates every year, but we need to acknowledge it's not enough. Nebraska needs more teachers, more healthcare workers, especially in rural areas, more engineers, more IT professionals, more entrepreneurs. No one else can produce a skilled workforce on the scale and breadth beyond the University of Nebraska. Part of our strategy for heeding the clarion call, and I've said this before, this is the year of the internship, and I will rephrase that, the paid internship. Every student at the University of Nebraska will have a paid internship, study abroad, or some other experiential learning opportunity. It's a proven approach for helping students gain experience and put them on a path to starting their career right here in Nebraska. And I know this works because I experienced it myself while I was the superintendent of the Naval Academy. We had a very difficult time getting our midshipmen to volunteer for the submarine force, mainly because they had to go to a very difficult nuclear power school to start their career, and they found that to be a hurdle they didn't want to take on. So we created something of an internship for young midshipmen who had just finished their first year, exposing a third of the class to an underway deployment on board a USS nuclear submarine. And within 1 year, we turned it completely around. I had more than 200 midshipmen that wanted to volunteer for 135 spots. So I know this can work. Number three, we'll take care of our people. We say it all the time, people are our greatest asset. We have to make sure it's true. Our actions today should reflect that. We want the University of Nebraska to be the destination of choice for all students, faculty, and staff, where all are welcome and have a positive experience. Increased investment in mental health services, something our students have been asking for. Faculty competitiveness. Our faculty have shown time and time again through their loyalty that they are the best, and through their talent that they're the best in the world. And it's time for their compensation to reflect that. With the budget you will consider later today, we are making the investments necessary to bring our faculty in line with their peers across all 4 campuses. Facilities. Our faculty and staff and students deserve the highest quality facilities in which to teach and learn. We are already underway with a historic deferred maintenance partnership with the state that will bring our buildings up to date and save taxpayers money. Number 4, we'll lean in together on our strengths. Gallup has it right. We can't be all things to all people, especially when resources are limited. But we can be the best in the world in areas where we have the talents, the expertise, and the partners. Agriculture, medicine, public health, early childhood, national defense, rural prosperity. These are the areas important to our state and where the University of Nebraska faculty can't be beat. Imagine if every Nebraska baby had access to high-quality early care, or if pancreatic cancer patients had hope for a cure, or if no rural Nebraskan had to drive outside their county to visit a doctor, or if we could keep our men and women in uniform safer. These are the kinds of solutions the University of Nebraska can deliver, thanks to our research, quality of our faculty, and the strength of our partnerships. And finally, number 5, we will create a new model for accountability. And I've talked about this since I've come here, and we're going to raise the bar even more. We're going to work on a set of metrics tied to these broad goals by which we will regularly and publicly measure ourselves. We want to provide confidence to Nebraskans about the return for their investment. I, along with all of you, are very proud of our $5.8 billion economic impact, but we can always do more to show responsible stewardship for every single dollar we get from Nebraska taxpayers. You'll see this in the budget that you'll vote on later. Almost $50 million in cuts have been baked in to include a 20% cut in administrative costs from the Office of the President right here in Varner Hall. Now, I will be honest with you, these did not come without pain. It came with a lot of work. But just as Nebraska families live within their means, so will our university. There's lots more detail, but I think this gives you a window into the vision we're bringing to this update. I'm very proud of the work that we've done, but even more excited about the accomplishments yet to come. We're ready to do big things for the state of Nebraska. Mr. Chairman, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Looks like an exciting opportunity just around the corner. Standing rules of the board provide that any person or persons may appear and address the board on items that are not on the agenda if they contact the corporate secretary with 24 hours notice. We were not contacted by anyone wishing to speak on any topic that is not on today's agenda. Pass by that section. Standing rules further provide that anyone excuse me, desiring to speak on any item that is on the agenda may do so. Is there anyone present today who would like to speak on an item that is on today's agenda? Looks like we're moving right along this morning. There being no one identified who wishes to speak, I declare the opportunity for public comment is now closed. Now time for us to look at the consent agenda. The consent agenda, as indicated by its name, is moved and voted on as a single group of action items as opposed to the administrative agenda where items are considered and discussed individually. With that said, unless one of my colleagues wants to consider any of these items, remove one of these items from the consent agenda and consider it on the administrative agenda, I would be happy to have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Clare, Regent Kinney,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, before we move to the administrative agenda, I'd like to acknowledge the contributions of someone that's been a special leader within our University of Nebraska system, a gentleman by the name of Charlie Bisek. On June 30th, for some strange reason, Dr. Bisek has decided to conclude his 40-year career in education and to retire. Like Regent Sadi, Charlie graduated from Kearney Catholic High School. His father was a faculty member at Kearney State College in those days, and in the Department of Biology, and served as a graduate dean. Charlie attended UNK, played a little football for the Lopers. After serving as a high school educator and a plant scientist, he returned to UNK in 1992 to serve on the biology department faculty for 13 years, including 7 as the department chair. Following a stint in Texas as dean of the School of Natural Sciences at St. Edward's University, Charlie returned to UNK in 2009 as the senior vice chancellor for academic and student affairs. In this role, he's been one of the real pillars who has helped build the modern day UNK. Charlie's impact and accomplishments are too numerous to list today, but some of the most visible ones include developing the health science education complex in partnership with UNMC to expand healthcare education in rural Nebraska. That's so significant. Developing a new general studies curriculum that reduces credit hour requirements, eases transfer, and gives students greater flexibility in earning their degree. Partnering with UNO to bring a Master of Social Work program to the UNK campus. Growing the Kearney Health Opportunities Program in partnership with UNMC, and launching Kearney Law Opportunities Partnership with the UNL College of Law. merging the College of Fine Arts and Humanities and the College of Natural and Social Sciences to form the College of Arts and Sciences, the most significant change in UNK's academic structure since the school joined the university system in 1991. So it's a great opportunity we have this morning to thank Charlie for his service, and I want to recognize Chancellor Christensen in that regard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate your indulgence to do this. This is out of the ordinary, and I dearly appreciate Charlie has clearly been one of the best public servants the state has seen of all phases of government, but particularly with the university. And I think it's appropriate to also acknowledge he's sort of the godfather of online education. He's the one who developed the online biology program, which has been so successful. In recognition of that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to present Charlie with the UNK Chancellor's Medal that we rarely give out, but we think it's dearly deserved in this case. And I'd like you to join me in congratulating Charlie Bisek. Charlie may not be gone just yet. We still get a chance to work on him between now and the 1st of July, but he medal back. Charlie has agreed to help us with the transition, as you mentioned, about the rural health facility and working with his colleagues at UNMC and with UNK, and we're very appreciative that he's going to continue in that role. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate this greatly.
President Carter, I believe it's your opportunity to lead us through the administrative agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 11A1 requests approval to amend Section 4.4.8 of the bylaws of the Board of Regents to permit faculty practice appointments at UNK. The 2021 to 2023 collective bargaining agreement with UNKEA permitted adding this faculty category at UNK. Professors of practice are full-time, non-tenure track faculty appointments which have commonly been reserved for practitioners who are appointed because of skills and expertise acquired in non-academic careers. As required by the board's governing documents, this item was included in the for information only category on the April 2022 agenda, and a public hearing on this item was held earlier in our meeting. This item was reviewed by the Academic Affairs Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Do we have a motion to approve item 11A1?
So moved. Second.
Take your choice. Let's call the roll.
Regent Drake?
Yes.
Regent Kent?
Yes.
Regent Sadi?
Yes.
Regent Sims?
Yes.
Regent Pillen?
Yes.
Regent Stark?
Yes.
Regent Whites?
Yes.
Regent Clare? Yes. Regent Kenny?
Yes.
Regent O'Connor?
Yes.
Regent Ferris?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item 11A2 requests approval to amend Regents Policy 5.7.1 relating to resident tuition categories. The National Defense Authority Act, NDAA, for fiscal year 2022 requires public universities that receive federal assistance to grant resident tuition to any member of a qualifying federal service or their spouses or dependents. For purposes of this provision, a member of a qualifying federal service is defined as a member of either the armed services or the foreign service. The university has long provided these benefits to members of the armed services, but not to those in the qualifying foreign service. The university recognizes and values the contribution members of the foreign service make to our nation and state. This item was reviewed by the Academic Affairs Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? All righty, let's call the roll.
Regent Kent?
Yes.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Sims, Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Claire, Regent Kenny,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen. The motion passes.
Item 11A3 requests approval to create the Bachelors of Arts and Bachelors of Science in Data Science at UNL. This exciting new degree program will span the College of Arts and Sciences, College of Engineering, and College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources. Chancellor Green, are there any comments you'd like to make about the proposed program?
Well, this program in data science, as you saw in the materials with the recommendation, is in high demand for what has emerged into a major field in data science and analytics. It has been developed as an interdisciplinary major across the three colleges, as President Carter indicated. Fairly rare occurrence, as you know. We do have interdisciplinary degrees, but this one is a tantamount example between the Department of Mathematics and the College of Arts and Sciences, the Department of Statistics and the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources, and the School of Computing in the College of Engineering. High demand will be one of I think the fourth Big Ten institution that will have a degree in this area that's high demand, high need.
This item was reviewed by the Academic Affairs Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve this item? Second?
Second.
Discussion?
I got a comment about this. I think that it's a great thing, again, a great example where we've got colleges collaborating together to meet a need and a demand in the public and private sector that's preparing our students and giving our students an opportunity. I love the collegiality. I love breaking down the silos, and I love it when our different campuses and our different colleges within the campus are working together.
Any other comments? Alrighty, let's call the roll, please.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Sims, Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Claire, Regent Kenny,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen. The motion passes.
Unless there is an objection, I recommend the board consider items 11B1 through 11B4, approval of the 2022-23 University Program and Facilities Fee, Fund B allocations for UNK, UNL, UNMC, and UNO be considered together. Fund B fees represent the portion of the university program and facilities fee designated to pay debt service, staff salaries, facility maintenance, and other related expenses. These fees are vetted each year by student government and help support important student programs such as student health, mental health services, campus recreation, student unions, and transportation services such as shuttles. The proposed 2022-23 fees at UNK would increase 2.3% per student or $10 per semester. The proposed fees at UNL and UNO would increase by 2.5% or $15 per semester and $12 per semester respectively. And the proposed fees at UNMC would remain flat. Generally, the recommended increases are focused on student mental health and behavioral health services. The proposed fees were reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve these consolidated items?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear what the students thought about the increase in their change in what they'll be paying, even though tuition stays the same.
Okay. Comments from the student regents?
Yeah, that is, I know we all have concerns about like raising the cost of our student bodies, and that's important to consider, but conscious that this is money that's going to be going asked for repeatedly, and over a long span of time, this is not like extended services, and that's not something that I think we being willing to provide that by, you know, adding on a few dollars here, that we can make sure that like students.
I would second what Regent Sims had to say. Students have spoken up about mental health on campus for the past couple of years now, and so to be taking an actionable step to provide those services for them is really, really important.
Yeah, third, it's in many ways I've heard that, you know, it's either not enough or it's too much from some. I think the amount that we're raising, especially for Fund B, is fiscally responsible and also responsible to keeping the lights on for students, being there for students, and providing a good college experience so that, you know, in addition to your studies, you're also receiving what you need in order to get by and learn how to be an adult. And I think that's really important. So I think it's a good increase, but not too extensive.
And I'll just add that at UNMC, all of our student fees are brought forward to our student senate, very thoroughly discussed, and these fees were supported ultimately by our student senate. We recognize that mental health and all of these resources that are supported by Fund B are really vital to the student experience, especially in this day and age, as we are still riding the COVID-19 wave. So we are happy to support.
Thank you. Jim?
There are a couple comments I think that's good for us to think back on when we talk about student fees and health. One that I think is a big kudos is how Chancellor Gold and UNMC's work together with UNL, and that we've been able to now outsource healthcare that was discussed 8-9 years ago, maybe on this board, or with that thought that we've kept it in-house. We have a vibrant health center, and partnering within our campuses kind of under the the vision of One Nebraska, I think is extraordinary, good, positive outcome. So I think that's really important. I would say this, that I would challenge our students to think about, especially when you think about the numbers that we've got, 44% of our kids at UNO, is that the number that are in Pell Grant, 40 at UNK, 26 at UNL, that, I think we'd all agree that our needs change. I'm 100% advocate that we need more mental health support. But I would encourage you as leaders on your campus, when you start looking at student fees, to kind of clean the closet out. There's probably things that are being paid for services that your students very, very few need or even desire anymore, and because we can't raise the fee. We've got to stay flat in this inflation coming. There's only one solution to inflation. You can't spend, you got to spend less. So I would encourage you to take a good look at what is going on your campuses for your students, for your colleagues, and the things that nobody's using anymore. Let's stop doing it so we save money. Thank you.
Other comments? Okay, call the roll, please.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Claire,
Yes.
Regent Kenny,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen,
Yes.
Regent Stark.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Unless there's an objection, I would ask that items 11B5 and 11B6, approval of the 2022-23 operating budgets for the university and NCTA, be considered together. I made some comments about our proposed budget in my early remarks, and I won't duplicate those, but I do want to put a stamp on what I think are the key elements of this proposal that we're bringing to you today. This is a big deal for our students and our university, and as Regent Pillen just said, how we manage our budgets, how we look at it, and how we make sure we are good stewards of our dollars is hard work, and I want to put it all together here for us to understand. We're aware of the current environment. Inflation's at 8.6%. Families are paying a lot more for gas and groceries. Nebraskans are having a hard conversation around the dinner table. This budget changes that conversation. Prices for just about everything are going up, but not tuition at the University of Nebraska. I will tell you, this puts us in rare company. Lots of institutions froze tuition for 1 year during the pandemic, but we're doing it for 2 straight years for every single student. We're doing that because we know these are hard times. We want to give students and families confidence that they can afford a University of Nebraska education. As I said before, the value proposition for higher education has never been greater. This is the time when we need to be doubling down on expanding access, not limiting it. We're able to do it because of the great deal of discipline and hard work on our part. We've stuck to a plan that we built 2 years ago, shortly before COVID hit, a plan that called for conservative fiscal planning so we could focus on our resources on the areas that would create the biggest impact, like student affordability, faculty competitiveness, and other strategic priorities. You'll see in this budget that we are making investments in expanding the Nebraska Promise and providing competitive compensation to our faculty, the real lifeblood of the university, and we are doing it without passing these costs on to our students. Taken together, this is a very conservative budget. It limits spending growth to 1.3%, which is well below the rate of inflation and well below the rate at which the state budget has been spent. And it requires us to make almost $50 million in spending cuts by the end of this fiscal year. These are not easy, but we're looking at every dollar. That starts with my office, as I said earlier, the Office of the President, where we have cut 20% in the administrative spending of Varner Hall. In fact, this is a remarkable statistic. You can see the slide up here. As a university system, when you adjust for inflation, we have brought our budget down to the levels of a decade ago. Let me say that again, of a decade ago. And inflation-adjusted tuition rates will be the same as what they were when today's high school seniors started kindergarten. That says a lot about the discipline we have exercised when it comes to our spending. Nebraska families live within their means, and so too does the University of Nebraska. I want to say thank you to the chancellors and our team for their leadership and for pushing us to be very thoughtful, strategic, and disciplined in our budget planning. We've had to make some difficult decisions, but we've done it for the long-term growth and success of the university. I recommend the proposed budgets for the university and the NCTA to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve these 2 items together?
So moved.
Second? Hello, is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you. Any discussion? Yes, ma'am.
One of the reasons that I'm particularly proud of this budget is the context in which it was created. Since 2020, we've heard nearly constantly that the pandemic means that we are living through unprecedented times, and it has made it necessary for much of the world and our institutions to act reactively instead of proactively. But this budget changes that narrative in a number of ways. It demonstrates the university's commitment to looking towards the future. It focuses on the core purposes of the University of Nebraska, offering accessible, high-quality education to all Nebraskans and preparing a future workforce that will allow future generations of Nebraskans to thrive. It shows that the university will be a change maker and that we have the right leadership, faculty, staff, administration, and students to change not just the state, but the world for the better. I'm very proud of this budget, but more than that, I'm proud of the people that made it a reality. So thank you all for your hard work. I think this is extraordinary, and I'm very excited about our future.
Thank you, Regent O'Connor. Well said. Jim.
I prepared a couple comments on this that I want to share with you. The state of Nebraska is a unique place that prides itself on doing things differently, doing things the Nebraska way. At our core, Nebraskans are problem solvers who get things done the right way, and the University of Nebraska is an extension of that. We always strive to reflect these Nebraska values in everything we do. The budget before us today is only possible because the University of Nebraska is different in so many excellent ways, because our leaders understand how success is measured, and because our students and their families, our faculty and our staff are at the center of our decision-making. Investing in students and expanding access to higher education is how success should be measured for every regent or leader of a university or college across the country. The University of Nebraska has used these principles as the measure of success for years, and under Ted Carter's leadership, we have a budget that enhances existing programs and takes the commitment to our students, faculty, staff, and the people of Nebraska to the next level. It has never been a better time to be a student at the University of Nebraska. This budget freezes tuition for yet another year. This means that undergraduate tuition will have only grown once the past 3 years. Keeping tuition rates low and increases small and predictable is the hallmark of good management. It is what Nebraskans have come to expect from the University of Nebraska, and we should all be proud of that expectation and rising to meet it time and time again. Programs like our 4-year graduation guarantee, which puts the university on the hook for delayed graduation, have always been one of the key factors to our success and the success of our students. This budget will build on those efforts. It will also ensure that the University of Nebraska will remain accessible for our families and for our families by investing in key areas like scholarship programs and mental health services. The Nebraska Promise, the program that provides tuition-free education to Nebraska families making less than $65,000 annually, is getting an increased investment and expansion. Additionally, President Carter and the chancellors have invested in expanded and enhanced mental health resources for students across each campus, helping to ensure students can receive help they may need without pausing on their education. Again, it has never been a better time to be a student at the University of Nebraska. And these types of programs and investments are what our families, students, and the public and private sector partners of ours expect of us. We will continue to raise the bar to meet and exceed their expectations. We will also do the same for our faculty and staff. President Carter has been laser focused on closing the gap between our peers when it comes to faculty compensation. Even though this budget freezes tuition and keeps spending growth low, it will allow the University of Nebraska to continue making up ground and closing the gap so that we can attract and retain top faculty to enhance the education for our students. We cannot afford to lose the faculty and staff who have helped us prosper during the pandemic, and we cannot afford to lose ground that we've already made up. I applaud President Carter in continuing to prioritize our faculty and staff in his proposed budget. Across the country, many institutions of higher education have made 5 or 10% tuition increases the norm, making it harder for working families to send their kids to school, especially in the face of an 8.6% inflation this last month, $5 gas, rising food and utility costs. Not Nebraska. All of us who are champions of conservative, disciplined fiscal spending should be excited about this budget. After the passing of this budget, spending at the University of Nebraska will have been held steady with inflation according to CPI since 2013. President Carter just mentioned. The cost per credit hour at UNL, for example, will also have been held at CPI cost over the same period. This is truly remarkable in today's higher education environment. I want to underscore this point specifically because this part of the budget is not achievable without all hands on deck. Cutting costs. That was a little play on damn the torpedoes.
Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead. University system administration was cut 20%, and the university-wide budget savings totaled over $48 million. These represent a reset in the value proposition for students and a refocus of university resources. The University of Nebraska is agile, lean organization ready to take on the challenges ahead of it. It is ready to build for the future instead of digging out of a hole. It is ready to, and under President Carter's leadership, the University of Nebraska is working to redefine how success is defined in higher education. We heard President Carter's remarks just a few minutes ago on his updated strategic plan for the university. The vision is exciting. It is also worth noting the work already accomplished that sets Nebraska apart from our peers. For example, UNL undergraduates have the lowest student loan debt burden of the Big Ten campuses. We were able to partner with state government to fund a landmark internship bill that will grow work opportunities for our students across the state in diverse industries. A family who is Pell Grant eligible will not have to pay a dime of tuition costs for their student to get a degree. Our athletic department actually subsidizes the academic enterprises through scholarship funding instead of the other way around, like many other institutions do. All of these and many more are the way the university has been leading the way and breaking the norm for decades. We will continue to do that in the years to come and at a greater pace in this budget. Achievements of this magnitude are not possible without the efforts of many. And I want to be sure that our partners in state government, Governor Ricketts, Lieutenant Governor Foley, Speaker Hilgers, Chairman of Appropriations Senator Stenner, and all of our friends at the legislature are all acknowledged for their investment. I also want to thank our partners in the private sector who have given to projects of all scopes to remove some of the inflationary pressure from our students and their families. Finally, I want to thank the university teams who helped make this budget a possibility. To be able to accomplish all of this while also finding nearly $50 million in savings over the last 3 years is a gigantic undertaking. Thank you for your diligence and your commitment to our vision and the mission. The last 3 years have proven to be unprecedented for challenges in higher education. The COVID-19 pandemic left many colleges and universities in dire straits between budget shortfalls, closed campuses, and shrinking enrollments. In June 2020, President Carter told the board that the University of Nebraska would exit the global pandemic, that it exits the pandemic stronger than when it entered. It was a bold statement for a president who'd been on the job for roughly 6 months. But truer words could not have been spoken. President Carter was right. President Carter's proposed budget is a sign of new path forward and an example of leading in a different way in higher education by prioritizing access and affordability over exclusivity and access, by championing student resources over student debt, by leading a lean and agile university ready to respond to modern challenges across our state instead of one slowed by unnecessary spending. This vision, the one President Carter underscores in this budget, is the only one that leads the university toward success. It's the only path that will ensure Nebraska's workforce demands are met. It's the only way we can continue to grow our state's economy. Most importantly, it is the only way we can attract, retain young people in our state. It's what will continue to make now as great a time as ever to be a student at the University of Nebraska. So I want to thank President Carter and the chancellors and their teams for their leadership, and I will be voting to approve this.
Impressive, Regent Claire. I was most pleased that many of us have been working on the mental health needs. You made students a priority. And Dr. Gold, you put together a list of 132 projects we have across all of our campuses. So our students have had that as a priority. We continue to expand and put money forward. We didn't cut in that area. We made it a priority. So we're most pleased about that.
Other comments? Jim?
Regent Claire, you must have stayed up really, really late. I think,
I did.
I think that there's one comment I think is really important to not lose sight of. March of 2020, our world turned upside down. I remember having extraordinary conversations about how our students' population could shrink 15%. and what that would mean to this university. I remember sitting on a lot of Zoom calls with a lot of chairs of boards across the United States, and when we would speak about how we see the world in the University of Nebraska, there'd be a lot of people from a bunch of colleagues in the Big Ten from coast to coast that would roll their eyes and think we're from Mars. But the bottom line, I remember conversations almost 2 years ago to the day. We were the first university in the United States that committed to respond to the students' needs. The student survey said that they didn't want to come back, they needed to come back. And we were the first university to say we were open to do business. And that courageous leadership, probably not everybody in this room agreed with that, but that courageous leadership made all the difference in the world. And I applaud everybody that got on board and made it happen, because that, in my opinion, that's the reason why we're sitting in the shape we are today. So I'm grateful for that.
Comments? Yes, Jake?
I guess first I want to note what a privilege it is to sit in this seat amongst the state's most dedicated and honest leaders. I'm really excited to see what this next year has to bring for this university and represent my campus's students. I think Regent Clare put it best when he said there's never been a better time to be a student in the state of Nebraska, and I can't say how thankful and proud I am to be a Nebraskan right now. In the face of record inflation, with the prices of gas and groceries and goods skyrocketing, President Carter has set a bold agenda that holds tuition to a 0% increase, and that is so meaningful to students. That's huge, and we should recognize that that's not an easy decision. The worries and costs of tomorrow will always be a factor in students, parents, and taxpayers' minds, but freezing tuition is a statement of our commitment to the state of Nebraska. Every person should have the opportunity to receive a high-quality college education. I'm proud to be a student and to be a representative at this pivotal moment, and I thank President Carter and I thank my fellow board members for working so hard to make this a reality. Just sitting here at my first meeting, and this is what we can accomplish. It's exciting, and I'm thankful for the opportunity.
Thank you. Other comments? Let's call the roll.
Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Clare,
Yes.
Regent Kenny,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 11B7 seeks your approval to amend the interlocal agreement with our public education partners for the Nebraska statewide Workforce and Educational Reporting System, better known as NSERS, to remove the backstop provision, which would require the university to fund the effort in the event state or private funds are not received. As NSERS has matured, this has not been an issue, as the organization has been generously funded through private support. Additionally, changes to accounting standards and the backstop provision would require the university to treat NSERS as a fiduciary for financial statement purposes without this change. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Chris, do you have anything you want to add to this, this item?
No, as President Carter indicated, this is mostly a cleanup item. Thanks to a lot of good work from a lot of good people, fundraising has been successful, and quite selfishly, this would make my life a lot easier from a GASB financial accounting perspective. So appreciate your consideration of the amendments.
My question would be in regard, would there be, could this body get an annual report of an executive summary of this systems report? Because, you know, we've been so far behind the eight ball in knowing where our kids are going and what's happening, and this is supposed to be the answer, and it maybe be good if we could you know, how many have left, how many have come back, you know, that sort of, if that's
Absolutely.
possible.
That is part of their charter, and we can ask that. We can ask for a briefing. We can either do a public forum. Other boards for which they serve also have access to the same information. They are also voting on the backstop, which is supported.
Barb?
I'd just like to say that I find that NSERVS is just beginning to be appreciated in so many different arenas. And many of the nonprofit, non-governmental organizations are now learning what an incredible richness there is to the data that they're gathering. And I'm really proud that we were there for them when they needed a backstop and that they can go on now with great strength.
Other comments? All right, we'll remember those comments and suggestions. Let's call the roll.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Kenny,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor, Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Clare. The motion passes.
Item 11B8 seeks your approval to amend our agreement with Enrollment Advisory Group for international student recruitment at UNK. Our engagement with EAG, or the Enrollment Advisory Group, has been successful. As such, UNK seeks to expand the agreement to include international recruitment for part-time and summer undergraduate and graduate students beyond the current full-time fall/spring international student scope. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion?
Make it.
Second.
Second.
Questions or discussion?
I have one for Doug and John. I wonder how we do on efforts other than this, like Rio and stuff like that, what you have him do, and is there other things that we do besides, or they get credit for everything that happens, or how does that work?
It's a wide variety of things, Regent Kenny. One is that particularly international recruitment is a lot of relationship-based experiences. So you mentioned Rio, for example. We can't have him there full-time as just one individual. There are so many places to be and so many things to do that would not be a good use of our money and time to do that. Over a period of years, you also develop a relationship with certain high schools and certain groups that say, hey, we had a good experience at UNK, it's the right size, it's safe, and so on. That helps us. This is not the only way to recruit, but it is certainly the one that's been most effective in the last 3 years of the things that we've tried. We tried 10 years ago to hire one person to go out and do it. That was not very successful. This group has been much better at it, and clearly it's something we're a lot more comfortable with than we were.
Comments? Yes, ma'am.
I would also add briefly, the international students at UNK add so much to our culture, to our environment, both in and out of the classroom. Every student at UNK would say they benefit so much from those experiences and those interactions. So extending this program is something that doesn't only benefit the international students that are recruited themselves, but really UNK as a whole. So thank you for the consideration of this, and yeah.
Other questions, comments? Pen is poised. Let's call the roll.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Drake, Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Clare,
Yes.
Regent Kenny.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item 11B9 seeks approval for the project scope, schedule, and budget for the Feedlot Innovation Center to be constructed at the Eastern Nebraska Research, Extension, and Education Center in Mead, Nebraska. This project aims to expand research and education capabilities in beef cattle management, nutrition, precision management, welfare, meats, and sustainability. Due to inflation, this project has exceeded the $5 million threshold requiring Board of Regents approval It is now projected to cost $7.5 million. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Question, comments?
Mike,
think-
you have any comments? No?
I think this is a great program, and Mike, you've done a great job with it. I think the ripple effect of this program as well can be huge to our economy as a state. Being a beef state, this is just very, very exciting, and I think can have tremendous economic potential and great opportunities for our students, but also the state.
Ask Chancellor Green to comment.
I can't miss the opportunity to comment on this one as an animal scientist, as you all know. What you may not know is that the University of Nebraska for decades has been considered to be the leading authority in the world in ruminant nutrition, ruminant beef cattle nutrition. And this new facility at ECNREC will move their research capacity to match that reputation. So I just can't pass up the opportunity to say this is a gem in the university's crown.
One more comment. And back when Chancellor Green was there, I mean, for the non-ag people, our company 10 years ago paid the university to study the effect of wet cakes, which is the distillers, the byproduct coming out of the ethanol plant, and prove, its value versus how it was being used in the past. And it kind of set the tone for the market after that, wouldn't you say, Ronnie, that it was something everyone across the country looked at that was feeding the product. So there's amazing things research-wise.
Yes, ma'am.
Several of the regents went out to Meade Extension Center for a meeting and gave a tour of that extension center. And I have to tell you, I was so amazed at what's being done there. And I wish every one of us could have had that chance to know the kind of work that happens on that in that particular extension area. It's very impressive.
I'll add. I will chime in. Thanks, Regent Kenny. I wanted Chancellor Green to go first. I think we do incredible things here in Nebraska, and we are problem solvers. I heard that phrase earlier. The expansion of the Feedlot Innovation Center at the Eastern Nebraska Research, Education, and Extension Center is a big deal. It isn't your typical academic experimental plot. It's not small. It's commercial scale. We take our partnership with our innovative producers in Nebraska seriously and view them as co-creators of solutions. And the Feedlot Innovation Center provides us to do this on commercial scale, both with our producers, but also our industry, the partners who are pushing the envelope every day in technologies that address workforce issues, talent pipelines, and sustainability. And so this is a big deal, and I appreciate the support. There's a whole team that's working on this, and thank you.
I can't help myself neither, but there's two big pieces of this that I think are really, really important. Number one, renewable fuels policy came into play in January 2007, changed agriculture in the state of Nebraska like nothing else on the planet. And so the only way renewable fuels policy is successful is having that critter called the ruminant consuming the byproduct. And so feeding cattle has changed dramatically in that time frame. And so this investment is really important to continue because when I think of the university and agriculture, it's water and it's cattle. And being the leaders in those two areas we are the leaders in the world, and this investment will only enhance that. So I think it's extraordinarily important, and I applaud you, Mike, for spearheading it.
Other comments? All right, let's call the roll.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Claire,
Yes.
Regent Kenny,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay,
Item 11B10 seeks the board's approval to name the Human Sciences Building on UNL's East Campus after Gwendolyn A. Newkirk, a prominent former administrator and faculty member within the College of Education. Hired in 1971 as chair of the Department of Home Economics Education, it is believed Dr. Newkirk may have been the first black faculty member hired in the college and was the only black chairperson ever appointed in the college. During her tenure, Dr. Newkirk was a project leader for all Nebraska home economics teacher educators, and she served as a consultant in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Sudan. Dr. Newkirk has been generous to the College of Education and Human Sciences, establishing 3 funds that bear her name: the Reading Center Fund to support tutoring services, the Global Education Fund to support study abroad, and the Professorship of Leadership to provide stipend support for the chair of the Department of Child, Youth, and Family Studies. Retiring from the university in 1991, Dr. Newkirk has left a legacy of leadership and service to the college, university, and her profession. As such, Chancellor Green and I recommend this naming, which was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, for your approval.
is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there comments? Clear cut.
Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent Sadie,
Yes.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Pillen,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Claire,
Yes.
Regent Kenny,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor,
Yes.
Regent Ferris.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item 11B11 requests approval of the program statement, ground lease, condominium declaration, and covenants for the Saddle Creek Campus Administrative Facility at UNMC. This item reflects another classic facilities renewal project, the current UNMC Administration Building constructed in 1950, which has reached the end of its useful life and renovation is not feasible. As you will note in the agenda item, this project is being completed as part of a public-private partnership. UNMC will own 1 floor of the multi-story office facility and portions of the shared conference, wellness, and support space on a separate common-use floor. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Right. Comments, questions? Dr. Gold.
Thank you. Just to expressly thank Chris Kuborik for helping us build a condominium model that will make this possible. This is a $21 million investment approximately from our deferred maintenance funds to take down more than 70-year-old administration building that's falling apart, and at the same time create new and novel space to host other partners in a true public-private partnership. It's also the first formal construction project on the acquired Saddle Creek property, which the Board of Regents has approved parcel by parcel over many years. And so we're deeply grateful for this opportunity and thank Chris for creating a model that makes this possible.
Other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Claire, Regent Kenny,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item 11B12 requests approval of the program statement for the College of Dentistry Building Modernization Project in Lincoln. This project is one component of the multi-pronged approach to improving the primary facility that supports the college's mission. The proposed project will address numerous deferred maintenance items, modernize classrooms, and update the auditorium with finishes and technology to support modern teaching. This project was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
We have a motion.
Make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there questions or comments?
Anything, Jeff?
Just to say that this is also a very much needed project. It is, again, using our deferred maintenance funds where they really need to be put to serve our students, to completely renovate the classroom experience and also to completely renovate the basic science research space. So basically everything that is not clinical space in the College of Dentistry building here in Lincoln will be uplifted. Everything from air handlers and windows, but to new facilities and equipment. It's a transformational change for the building, and we're incredibly grateful for the opportunity to do this.
I think it's another example of the cooperative movement between different colleges and different university settings to make this really economically feasible.
Yeah, I was going to ask Chancellor Gold to speak specifically to the decision, you know, that the College of Dentistry remain here in Lincoln. Because it, you know, with the investment.
So the College of Dentistry has educational and clinical programs widely across the state of Nebraska, literally from Omaha to Gearing, north and south borders as well, in dental hygiene and in our dental practice programs as well. Most of our fellowship programs are widely located across the state. However, there is no question with this investment that the core undergraduate basic programs will remain here, situated on the East Campus. Again, underscoring the collaboration among and between the campuses of the university. The bones of the building are strong, and this uplift will really position it for several decades of meaningful life here. So again, very grateful to do it. We may be coming back to you just as a bit of an aperitif to talk about expanding some of the clinical space that the building currently occupies, because our clinical service to the communities here in Lincoln continues to grow, and we're rapidly running out of space, but that would not be considered within the deferred maintenance program.
I'll just make a comment. Every time we go through one of these building renovation topics, got to reflect on LB 384.
Absolutely.
The timing of it, the fact that we worked with the legislature to get it, the fact that we earned a $400 million bond at interest rates that were the lowest in United States history. Had not all that happened, first of all, not only would this item not be coming forward, we would be delayed years to have the savings to do it, and we'd probably pay double the cost. So these are legacy items. It's not just that we're making our facilities modernized and ready for the students of the future. This is a great credit to our legislature, this board, and our finance folks that had the vision to be able to put this together.
Other comments? Call the roll.
I was just gonna say, Mr. Mello ought to be thanked too to get the whole thing through what we did with the legislature.
When I talk about the unicameral legislature, I just assume Heath is part of that.
Well, and as somebody said earlier, this reflects good planning that has come from our financial folks. Chris, thank you for that leadership, because it not only reflected getting this done and getting it in place, but we've multiplied it dramatically because of the timing of being able to step in and grab that low interest rate.
All right, Regent Sadi,
Yes.
Regent Sims,
Yes.
Regent Drake,
Yes.
Regent Kent,
Yes.
Regent Stark,
Yes.
Regent Whites,
Yes.
Regent Clare, Regent Kenny,
Yes.
Regent O'Connor,
Yes.
Regent Ferris,
Yes.
Regent Pillen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item 11B13 requests approval of a contingent fee billing services agreement between the Monroe Meyer Institute at UNMC and Nebraska Medicine. Contingent fees are those in which payment is based on a percentage or portion of volume. State law requires contingent fee contracts be approved by the highest executive officer upon 30 days public notice. It is more economical for the Monroe-Meyer Institute to partner with Nebraska Medicine for billing services versus building their own internal capacity. The estimated cost of this agreement is $570,000 annually. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
Accept the motion?
Make it.
So moved.
Motion and a second there. If that's all right with the two people? Competition for who is listed first, right? All right, and now are there questions or items for discussion?
Jeff?
Yeah, just to mention, Regent Ferris, that this partnership has been sustained for a long time. It's extremely effective, and I think the most important thing that the region should understand is that it keeps the cost of services at the Monroe-Meyer Institute for Developmental and Intellectual Disabilities as low as possible by not adding incremental administrative costs for revenue cycle management. So this is a very effective and important partnership.
Questions, comments? Call the roll.
Regent Sims.
Yes.
Regent Drake.
Yes.
Regent Kent.
Yes.
Regent Sadi.
Yes.
Regent Whites.
Yes.
Regent Clare. Regent Kenny.
Yes.
Regent O'Connor.
Yes.
Regent Ferris.
Yes.
Regent Pillen.
Yes.
Regent Stark.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item 11B14 seeks approval to name the drive south of Baxter Arena for Dr. Jeffrey Gold in recognition of his service as UNO Chancellor from 2017 to 2021. During that time, he significantly accelerated UNO's path toward becoming the nation's premier metropolitan university, laying out a bold vision for access to exceptional, in which every UNO student would be able to complete their academic journey with the support of world-class faculty and staff. Under Dr. Gold's leadership, UNO delivered. UNO expanded access to a student body that reached new records in both size and diversity, achieved approved student outcomes, set new bars for research success, including record-high extramural funding, developed new academic programs to meet the needs of our state, secured the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's Center of Excellence for Terrorism Prevention and Counterterrorism Research, and attracted significant investments from the philanthropic community that expanded the campus's footprint and provided increased support for students and faculty. Higher education is changing rapidly, requiring strategic, visionary, and innovative leadership. Dr. Gold was one such leader for UNO, serving at a time when a continued upward trajectory for the campus was crucial to meeting the needs of Omaha, Nebraska, and the world. I was personally approached by major philanthropic supporters of UNO, requesting the university name an area around Baxter Arena for Dr. Gold to express their and our deepest gratitude and appreciation for his leadership. As you all know, Regents policy precludes naming facilities after current employees. As such, adoption of this item both waives the requirements of Regents policy 6.2.7 and approves the naming. This item was reviewed by the Business and Finance Committee, and I recommend it to you for your approval.
I would point out that soon after we began this discussion, Dr. Gold left. And so.
At my approval. And I will just share, this was not Dr. Gold's idea. He's very humbled and somewhat embarrassed by this recognition. And I will also add that Dr. Lee is also in full support of this.
When we discussed this in committee, there was some discussion that maybe we could do an alley someplace, a portion of the street, but this was more appropriate. So, is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Is there a second? Pick whoever you want, Phil. Any questions or discussion? Liz, are you getting ready to say something or just vote?
I just want to say, as an alumni of UNO, I've been so impressed by the dedication that Dr. Gold showed to the institution. I don't think that UNO ever felt like they had half of a chancellor, and that's just a testament to how absolutely dedicated Dr. Gold is, not just to UNMC, but to UNO and to our young people, our faculty, staff, and administration. I feel this is very well deserved, and I'm very excited about it, and I think that it's a great way to honor him. And I know that a lot of UNO and a lot of Nebraska just feels very grateful for all of the hard work. We probably took years off of Dr. Gold's life through stress, but he never complained, and I think that he went above and beyond in showing his commitment to UNO and to Omaha, Nebraska. So I'm excited, and I will be definitely a yes vote.
Any other comments?
I just wanted to say that as a current student, Dr. Gold's legacy definitely is stepped down from this position, and it's very, very clear the impact that he has had. So I just wanted to contribute that even if it defies the norms.
Questions, comments? Call the roll. Oh, Jim?
You know, maybe I'll just, so I'm certainly going to vote in favor of this, but not to be a Debbie Downer, but I do think we have the policy that we've had for a reason. And, you know, that I think that this should be guarded by this board as an exception to the rule, and shouldn't be something that we should be doing with people that still have a lot of work ahead to do, you know, on a very frequent basis, would be my 2 cents.
Probably worth at least a nickel. Thank you. Let's call the roll.
Regent Drake.
Yes.
Regent Kent.
Yes.
Regent Sadi.
Yes.
Regent Sims.
Yes.
Regent Clare. Regent Kenny.
Yes.
Regent O'Connor.
Yes.
Regent Ferris.
Yes.
Regent Pillen.
Yes.
Regent Stark.
Yes.
Regent Whites.
Yes.
The motion passes.
And finally, there are many and numerous reports for your review.
And I would just while I'm accepting those reports on behalf of the board, I would remind you that it's worth your time and very valuable to spend a little time looking at those reports. Been a suggestion or two that we might start the next meeting with a quiz on those reports. So just keep in mind that that's hanging out there, and we may decide to launch that at some point. Is there any further business? I'll let the record show that at 10:48, stand adjourned.